People are just like, bullet ant? Awesome. Our Ben says it's bullet ant. I feel like people are just coming in here like, okay, we're seeing the twins, but we're hearing geese, chickens, ants, murder birds.
Everything but the twins. But trust us, it's all related
Oh, they
somehow.
have the
Um,
most painful sting in the world. That's the one.
you know, uh, you know what the most painful scene in Dead by Daylight is?
Having whatever, I guess, pieces of Victor's body parts wrapped around your internal organs.
I was gonna say a
Make you
4-man
feel
slug at 5 gens, but yeah, that too.
okay.
We segue so smoothly.
Victor looks like a beetle. See, we connected, man. And geese are murder birds. Geese are just assholes, like Victor.
Oh my god.
Segway.
Wait, Lukey just said Victor looks like a beetle?
Yeah.
Hello, Stephen Cleveland. I don't know. Girl right top looks like she loves Whitney Houston.
What?
Welcome. I do enjoy Whitney Houston. She's pretty great. Um,
I was
I
like,
assume it's me that you're referring to. So yeah, twins.
yeah.
Welcome to our Dead Talk. For those who are new here, what we like to do is give backstory on the characters or the killers, and then we create some horror movie scenario and we kill off a bunch of the survivors and however we think they might die.
Hmm.
Your girl on the bottom loves cats. She does love cats. Um okay, so the
That's a statement
twins.
that covers both of us.
It is. Yes, we are both cat people. Um okay, so the twins. They are from a different time. Um
Ah.
they're actually from the 1600s, which is a very inconvenient time to be born as conjoined twins
Or really
because
anybody.
yeah, anybody with any sort of disability, you are just absolutely fucked during this time.
Yes.
um so they were born and no mention of their father. You only ever hear about their mother through all of this, but uh they were born and the midwife immediately noticed that Victor was attached to Charlotte, and knowing absolutely nothing about the science behind conjoined twins, she screamed witchcraft, it's a demon child, and she ran off to go tell everybody that there was a demon baby that Madeline just had, which was their mother, and or Madeline, and their mother having freshly given birth, this boss of a lady took her babies and ran.
Yeah.
They spent the next few years just going all across the countryside of France. They never really settled down um, at like a specific home. They just kind of traveled everywhere. They stole to like get food and shit. Meanwhile, they were very constantly being hunted down by witch hunters who believed that Charlotte and Victor's birth were the result of some witchcraft, some satanic bullshit. Uh, Again, they thought demon babies. So, when they were about 5 years old, their mother fell very ill, and she told Charlotte that you gotta take care of things. Madeline was too sick to actually go out and try to get food for them, so it was Charlotte's work. So Charlotte had to go and, uh, first of all, cover up Victor so nobody would see him,
And put a
and
sock in his mouth.
yes, to keep him quiet. Um, and she had to go and just steal for food. and help get them taken care of. And they were still children. This started when she was 5. They were still children when one night some men showed up who were witch hunters and decided to um, hit their mother over the head with like a bat or something and knocked her out entirely, and then captured Charlotte and Victor. And then they took her mom, or their mom, tied her to a tree, put some dead twigs and moss around her feet. As she started to come to, she was yelling at her kids to not watch. The guys that were going to kill her, there was a judge, I guess, who just like showed up and he was like, "You're a witch. Your sentence is being burned at the stake." But they had a tree. And set her ablaze, and they made Charlotte and Victor watch. And then these witch hunters kidnapped them and then sold them to a cult. And if we know anything from the backstories of Elodie, Felix, Blight, we can assume it is the cult of the entity that they were sold to. And this cult, and again, like, they were children at the time still, was just experimenting on them. And it would be like weird experiments. So like one was prick their finger, make them bleed into a vase of roses. What was the other one? They had to sleep on top of like a dried twig or branch or something, like
Real weird shit.
really weird shit. And then it came up to a point where they were basically going to be sacrificed, and the cult had gathered, taken them to an altar, and one like dude who's going to go ahead and do the killing, hi Fern Dog, decided that he would, or like he like went up to them, put his hands on both of their heads, and then said memento mori, which just means like you have to die or some shit. Um, Death is inevitable. Uh, and before he could actually take a knife out to kill them, hi Coco, you don't have to claw me. Um, he or they took out the knife, and then Charlotte rolled out of the way to not get hit by the knife. And as she was moving, Victor reached out, grabbed a candelabra, and threw it to the ground. When he threw it to the ground, shit lit on fire faster than a vampire in Twilight. It immediately erupted and just burst into flames on the ground. Everything was so dry where they were at that it just like, whew. All the people wearing cloaks, their cloaks caught on fire instantly. They were burning alive, screaming. There was smoke everywhere. Charlotte just like cradled Victor and just started running, and she was trying to get out, but she didn't know her way around there, because they were pretty much held captive. They didn't really like freely explore. So she kept running into dead ends. And she was about to pass out from just smoke inhalation until she finally saw like a light. And she was like, that's the exit. So she went to it. She emerged. It was out in like the forest or whatever. And then she got out, fresh air, and she just passed out. And when she woke up, she went to reach for Victor's hand, and he was not moving. And so she tried to wake him up, and unfortunately realized that Victor had passed away. And she was mad that he died, and that like that was what their life was. And at this point, it mentions that they were like teenagers, so they were still pretty young. She ended up going to Marseille, where she lived in the sewers, hidden away from society, which reminded me a lot of Assassin's Creed Unity, personally. And she stole a sickle from a farmer and modified it to suit her needs. And so, still hiding Victor, but keeping his body close, she would go and rob like different vendors and stuff to make sure she had food and everything. If things turned out to not be working in her favor when she was robbing, then she would kill them out of defense and scurry back into the sewers. Um, when she lived like this for a while. Um, During that time, Victor was not dying though. Like he started to ooze out of like his eyes and nostrils and stuff, like some black goo, but he wasn't really decomposing in the way that you would think a corpse would, which was weird. But she wasn't gonna question it because, like, she could still keep him with her, and that's all she really cared about because he was the last family she had at all, and she didn't trust anybody else in the world. Um, so it was just weird. Uh, but yeah, so she's living like that, and then one night she's just out, kind of just like hunkered down in the woods, and it is cold. It is extremely cold, and she just cannot get warm, even with the campfire. She's starting to actually like go into hypothermia. She's getting crystals around her nostrils, absolutely freezing, and she herself is on the near brink of death when she suddenly feels Victor move. And after she feels that, the next thing she knows, he just erupts from her chest and takes off. And even though she was dying, she was not going to let Victor leave her. So she ran after him as well. And when she found him, he was standing at the edge of a very thick fog. And a hooded figure, who looked much like the people who had kidnapped, well, not kidnapped, but bought them from the kidnappers and experimented on them, reached out of the fog for Victor and took him with him. And Charlotte said, "No, fuck, you do not take my little brother." And I say little as far as size, but they were the exact same age. She said, "No, the fuck, you're not taking my brother." And she went in after him to make sure that nobody ever hurts her brother because he's the most precious thing to her. Anybody who comes between her and her brother is just, you don't stand a chance. Charlotte will decimate you.
Take a moment because, like, Arbenz mentioned the no clean water or electricity. Everyone basically died from every common disease ever back then.
That's fair.
And Charlotte literally had a corpse inside of her oozing
And she
as
lived in
she did,
sewers and like,
like, the immune system she has. Holy shit. Um, Also, Victor's an asshole,
yes.
which you do not get from just reading like the regular lore. You have to go into the items where he figured out that if he screamed enough, he would just get what he wanted because they were trying to hide him, so they wouldn't
Yes.
all like die and shit.
This yeah, like the silencing cloth. Or no, the silencing cloth was actually used for Charlotte because when the witch hunters would come by, she would panic and start screaming.
Mhm.
So her mother would be like, "No, it's a game." 'Cause she's a child, and that's how you
Yeah,
deal with children. You tell them it's a game. You have to be as quiet as possible. So she had a cloth that she had stuck in her mouth. But yeah, the spinning top. Like, I mean, they were kids and they were siblings. Like, of course they're gonna fight over toys. But yeah, Victor would just scream until Charlotte would be like, "Okay, it's yours. Have it."
there was one. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see.
There's the toy
There
soldier
ends.
where Victor says, "Kill bad men."
It's not that one. Um, Adam. Oh yeah, they had to eat vegetables and moss and bark to feel full. That
Yes.
kind of sucked.
Forest stew.
Um, where Where is this damn thing? It was pretty much like it said that like it was too big for him to even like hold or use, but he wanted it anyway. I can't find the damn thing. Uh Charlotte was jealous of that toy soldier. Eh.
The two teeth that Victor lost long ago, they're unusually sharp. This is one killer that like the items do a really good job of
There it
a
is.
backstory.
Weighty rattle, a shoddily carved rattle that Victor cried over until his mother stole it for him. It's entirely too heavy to be trusted to a child. Like he just fucking wanted it. And that's it. And Victor stole a cat eye from their food.
Oh yeah. And he played with it like a toy.
See, the cat figurine, a wooden figure that caught young Victor's eye. He shrieked until his mother stole it from the market, nearly blowing their cover. Like, he.
The toy sword, a miniature toy sword, only a few inches long, holding it brought out a violent enthusiasm in Victor.
Yeah, he was a bit of a dick.
He was very rambunctious.
Yeah, that's a word. Uh, I felt bad because, like, I found, like, this picture of her. Like, just look at how tired she looks. Like,
Yeah,
she just looks exhausted.
she's been babysitting for her entire life, so
Like, I feel so bad for her. Like, every picture I see of her, it's not, like, malicious. Like, she looks pretty pissed off in this one. But, like, for the most part, it's not a matter of her being, like, super pissed. It's just tired and wanting to be left alone. Um, Also, side theory. Um, I was thinking while I was reading it, I was wondering if their dad was like a member of that cult.
interesting theory.
Because there was was it her? I just closed out of the window because like I don't need this, and I was like, oh wait, never mind. Uh, ta-da. They did a brief inquiry into the death of Madeline and said it was recorded as a service to the greater good and the extermination of evil. And I'm like, I was wondering if like the greater good was that they had intended to try and make the twins, if maybe the father like they had figured out like the father's genetics would produce the twins like this. She was alone and why she kind of like instead of like trying to rest, she just hoofed it out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love that it looks like Coco was sitting on your head there. Um yeah, I was wondering because he's not mentioned at all.
Never. I figured
And
it was some like just a legitimate birth.
I mean it could be. It was just kind of weird that like the cult wanted him that bad. And if you're a witch hunter, don't you kind of want to like get rid of the witches? Like, isn't that more important than selling them?
Well, they're not the witches, they're the demon child. Their mother was the witch, and the cult had money.
But money and yeah, killing a demon,
They wanted the money.
I don't know.
It's pre-revolutionary France. They
I
wanted the
like
money.
I like to think that maybe they were not in it for the money, but I guess they could have easily been in it for the money.
I think they were in it for the money.
All I'm saying is I'm super sus of their dad.
That's fair. I like that theory. All right. Now, when it comes to our actual story here, They don't have a map.
They don't. They're like somewhere in France, but they also tend to like they mentioned the woods quite a bit.
Hmm.
So it could easily take place in a wooded area.
I noticed that both you and I, when filming Maury's, uh, decided to go into Shelter Woods.
Yeah, because that's where the woods were.
So,
And they mentioned a tree that like they tied the mom to the tree and there's a big fucking tree in there. So I was like, aha, this looks about right.
actually, next to that tree is a really sad looking part of a tree that looks like it's been burnt down or
Oh,
like struck by lightning or something and fallen down. It's a pitiful little tall, skinny stump. But yeah.
there we go.
So, Macmillan Estates.
The Shelter Woods. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't believe it's not France of Dead by Daylight.
So, do we want to go with um a whole like Friday the 13th campers gone
Works for
wild?
me. That is perfectly fine with me.
Okay. I actually thought about who I wanted to die first. Did you have ideas?
I had both my first and last survivor just like the moment I like my brain like opened up its little knowledge book and was like, what would happen? It was like, bam, bam, there they are. So my first dead is Yunjin.
Wow. Okay. Is it because she likes to be not with other people and that's the worst thing you can do against the twins?
No, mine is that Yunjin seems to hate anything that looks creepy or like gross to her, and that she would be the first one to punt Victor. Like 100%, they see Victor coming at him. Yunjin's gonna be the one to punt him out of there and be like, yeah.
So, I had a similar idea, but with David of um oh, do you know it's like a sound on TikTok, I think it's an old Vine, where the guy's just like, uh why are you looking at me like that, little dude? You wanna go? Just in my mind was David's going to fight Victor and lose.
Oh God. Did you have a last survivor?
I didn't.
I had Lori.
Oh, because she's a babysitter.
If anybody knows how to calm down a kid that's throwing a fucking temper tantrum, it's gonna be
It's
Lori.
gonna be the babysitter. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I actually, yes, okay.
That was my guess, is that it would be Lori because she would recognize that they haven't had a babysitter their entire lives and it's her time.
She just becomes the motherly figure that they've been missing for years, and
She's gonna treat them just like all the other kids. Like, I think there's a cult over there. No, there's nothing there. Go to bed.
you know what? That's what it was like in the movie that she got attacked in the closet. So
Yeah. That was her entire babysitting strategy, is just gaslighting the shit out of everybody she babysat. But you know what? It worked out. At the end of the day, it worked out.
beautiful. Okay. So, order of death. So we have everybody camping. Um, we have a lot of survivors. Do we want to potentially go ahead and put them in groups now?
What if they're
Or,
all what if they're all like sitting around the campfire right now and they're just like telling a scary story, like Are You Afraid of the Dark style?
ooh, I like
So they're
that.
all like huddled over there. But again, like Yunjin, I feel like she actually would be standing apart for them because gross. And
Yes.
also I can only imagine what that kind of campfire heat would do to her hair. Like she's that's like it's both that she's going to punt Victor and the fact that she would not go near these dirty, stinky fuckers that made her go on this
She
goddamn camping trip.
refuses to smell like beer and campfire.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with that. Uh, it would be really cool. So LED seems like the type to be like telling horror stories
Yeah.
to me.
Does
I think she's
does
best
Jordan
qualified.
Felix's life are horror stories?
So LED can be telling the story, and then it, I imagine at like a really intense part of the story, all of a sudden you just hear Victor's from like echoing through the woods, and then somebody's just like, "What was that?"
Yunjin just punts him into the fire and it's like, oh my god, it got junk on my shoes.
She's got this black goo. Ew.
So she's gonna go and like go to her tent and get a new pair of shoes.
Okay.
Like this pair clearly has to be burned now.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, welcome to the happy
Hello, Benny. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so and I imagine when she leaves, that's when Charlotte just
Oh yeah,
emerges from the shadows and just silently just like sickle right across her throat. Yunjin can't even scream. Like
takes her shoes too.
they look so pretty.
I mean,
Um
they probably take half the shit on Yunjin's body because she's got like nice jewelry. If
ooh.
if she's got her blue hair, like my god, I would just run off with everything. Like Hyunjin would just be bald and naked on the
A
ground, and like
nice warm coat.
we just
Hello.
next time we see Charlotte, she's wearing the blue dress, has a really poorly made wig on, and has like one toe into her little bitty shoe.
Oh, be
Or Victor's
precious.
running around in them.
I love it. Hi, hello, buddy. I hope you're doing well tonight. Um, okay. So if she's kicked Victor, is he down for the count or can David go fight him?
I mean, he'll just regenerate. This is
Yeah,
fine. This is what happens.
that's true.
So long as Charlotte is around to regenerate from, he will once again emerge.
That's true. They're gonna have to actually take out Charlotte.
Yeah,
They'll figure that
that's
out.
that's how it goes.
They'll figure
Yeah,
that out eventually.
I just imagine they're trying to pull like Victor's body out of the fire. And then if you ever watch like when Victor like dies, he just kind of like bubbles
Melts.
into goo and then he goes back into her. They like
Oof.
pull this charred corpse and it just melts into goo and they're like, "What the shit?"
We're doing excellent, thank you. Um, okay. And so none of them notice that Yunjin is gone now.
Yeah.
They can find her body later or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I imagine sharing ghost stories is probably coming to a halt after that.
After the real life ghost story has
Yeah,
occurred.
after they're just like, "What the fuck was that?" Um, I mean, they could go back to sharing ghost stories, but I feel like personally, I'd be like, "No, I'm." I feel like at least some of them would probably like, "I'm good. I'm gonna go to bed now, though."
I was gonna say, I can just imagine that getting punted into the fire, and then you just hear like the guns cocking of all of the cops in the group, and then just Steve just slowly pulling his baseball
His.
bat out of his sleeping bag, and Nancy's like, "Are you serious? You were gonna sleep with that?" Just like, what? It's my lucky bat.
I
It
cannot
just
wait for season 4. I'm so
opens up his
excited.
bag and his pajamas or his little sailor outfit.
Oh, that would be so precious.
It would.
Who sleeps in their work uniform though?
Somebody that has a really fucking cute work uniform.
Nancy's actually like really into it. That's why.
Yeah, she's
They've...
making fun of him, but she's got a real big lady boner going on right now.
Oh yeah. Like as soon as he puts it on, she's just like, "Scoop me like one of your French girls."
Scoop me like one of your French vanilla flavors.
Oh goodness.
Cue Candyman, that song. The Lollipop with by Aqua.
I don't know the Aqua version. I only know like the oldie, like the lollipop, lollipop.
No, if just take a moment and go. It's called either Candyman or Lollipop. Sometimes it's Lollipop parentheses Candyman, but it's from Aqua, the makers of Barbie Girl.
Yeah, I know who they are. I was a big fan of Barbie Girl in the day.
And I fucking love this song because it's so catchy, but it's so filthy, dirty, nasty.
I will listen to it when I'm not on stream so I don't get copyright striked.
Yeah. Yeah. So
All right.
that's happening.
So they all just saw Victor get pulled from a fire and just back into like his weird goo
Mhm.
and vanish. I would imagine many of them are freaked out. Bill's probably like, I've seen worse.
Yeah, I just imagine Bill and Cheryl are just like sipping a beer, like, no big deal. Dwight is 100% in David's lap at this point,
Absolutely terrified. Like, please hold me.
but he's also a little drunk, so he's also like, please hold me, among other things.
Hmm.
And he's just sitting
Um,
there like, hmm, I'm scared yet strangely aroused.
I say I say we have them kind of just like some of them just like, okay, on that note, I'm gonna go back to the safety of my tent and go to bed. So we can have some of them go to bed. They can get off in their sleep or something. Um, and we can have some others who are just like, I'm gonna, it's fine, it's gone now, or like they're just like, I want to talk about it more. That was freaky. Let's retell what just happened that we all witnessed 10 times and get drunker with every retelling and be like, no, I saw it. He had like 18 teeth and they were in two rows like a shark. Like, you just get start exaggerating. Um, so yeah,
So we have our let's go to sleep and pretend this isn't happening. Our
my tent is
probably
safe.
yeah, my if I hide under the blanket, the monster will go away.
Yes.
Um there's
So,
the smart people that are probably like, well, I am going to set up a patrol, which is probably our group of responsible adults, and then there's our drunks that want to talk about it. Slash the people that are just are like, I have seen so much worse in my life. Like Cheryl could relate to them on a whole nother level.
right. So, I think Dwight would want to be in the group that actually goes to sleep, but David won't go with him. David's going to be with the I'll stay up and get drunk group.
Yeah.
And Dwight's too scared to actually go by himself, so he just stays.
What if David's like, sure, I'll go to bed with you, and he like goes to bed, and Dwight's drunk enough that he passes out. He just swaps out with a body pillow. And he just like puts a little whiskey on it so he thinks it's him.
I I can deal with that. Um, Ace, David, Quentin's absolutely not going to sleep.
No. He's
Ace,
not getting drunk
David,
because he doesn't want to like get blackout drunk either.
True. Jeff and Ash will be staying up.
Yeah, 100%.
He said Cheryl would be with them. Jill, Leon, and Tap are forever protectors.
Yeah.
We'll be
Those are
like,
the ones that the moment that
sober up.
yeah, they're the ones that literally have their guns loaded already. They have a patrol. Like they just made eye contact and we're psychically already setting up patrol.
Elodie's gonna want to stay, and where Victor just like formed into a puddle and vanished, she's gonna be like looking around and trying to see like, did he leave any of that goo behind? Like, she
Yeah.
wants to figure it out. Like, the fuck did we see? What just happened?
Yeah, she is attempting to bottle goo.
Yes. I think Felix would not leave her.
Just be like, can we please let this one go? Just this one time?
I think Yui's probably just like, well, that was some weird ass shit, and I think I've had my fill for the day. And she's
I
not
don't know.
afraid to.
I could see Yui staying up, like not necessarily being interested in going over it, but being interested in drinking and hanging out.
That's fair. And she wouldn't be scared or anything.
No. It was tiny. She could take that. If
uh,
if Yunjin can take that, Yui can take that.
as some people are leaving, Nancy and Steve are just gonna use that as their opportunity to go off and be like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to bed too. Oh, we're so tired."
Steve's like drunk and sleepy and he just changes into his pajamas and Nancy's like, "I'm suddenly very tired, but yet I am very scared. May I stay in your tent?"
I'm sure you can protect me with that bat that I was just making fun of a minute ago.
It's so large and thick. I would feel so much better with that in me. I mean, next to me.
So I think they're gonna go off. Zarina, I don't know what to do with her. I think probably she'd
I feel
probably
like
go.
she'd be curious too.
Yeah, she would probably be helping out Elodie. Kate would go to bed.
Yeah.
Kate would be like, no, thank you.
I feel like Kate would just use like she gives me the impression that she's just one of those people that is just looking for an excuse to nap. Like I
She
just
works
get that
hard.
aura from her. She does, but I mean, you can work really hard and still be like waiting for just that one instance like, "Oh my god, I've been working for 12 hours today. I sneezed. I must go to bed now. I must have a cold. Gotta rest."
um, Adam, Jane, and Fung.
Fung might want to drink with them, but she's not allowed to. Isn't she underage?
Cheryl's also underage.
Cheryl's also like four different people.
Cheryl
They're
just
like, I
gets
need
a
to see your
pass.
identification, and she's like, which one?
So we can send Fung to bed. Lori would probably go to bed. She's at heart an old lady.
Yeah,
Um, I could see Adam actually staying up
yeah,
to just like he'd want to be part of the retelling. Jeff would have the best retelling of what happened,
of
I
course.
feel. But I think Adam would want to be part of that. Um,
I feel like Meg would want to like go to bed and forget that this is all happening, but I also feel like she would be wired.
I think she would go to bed because she probably also plans to get up really early and go for a hike.
True.
So I can see
Claudette
her.
strikes me as a sleeper.
Yeah, Claudette's just like, her and Meg probably are sharing a tent or something. Little girls' night.
Yeah.
And Claudette's just like, yeah, if you're going, I'm going. I'm not gonna be out here alone with all the drunk guys.
I could see Jake like having like one of those like you read about it in the kids novels where they hollow out like part of a pine tree and they just live in it. Like he is deep inside of a pine tree nearby. No. He's been listening to the stories the whole time.
um, Bill would be up, staying up.
Yeah.
So I say Nia and Jane probably go to bed.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the whole gang.
If Zarina's gonna be helping out with Elodie, we could probably send Felix to bed.
He's just like takes her firmly by the shoulders and is like, "Please, I need to go take a nap. I have a killer headache. I drank too much. Don't let her get out of control. Your parents go missing when things get out of control."
Zarina's like the only other person he really trusts to make sure Elodie's okay. All right. So, do we want one of our sleepers to get offed from their tent?
I think the next one to go would have to be a bathroom death.
Okay.
Like I get like I would if I was in a group with them, I would have our tents pretty close to like where we're all at.
Yeah.
Like so having one of them get picked off in the tent would bring a lot of attention where if if like a Jeff shits in the woods, would anybody really hear him? Like,
That's fair, but we've Jeff's had I think like 2 bathroom deaths
he
so
does.
far.
He's had a lot of bathroom deaths. Let's see. Who would have an adverse reaction to alcohol slash s'mores?
Quentin.
Which
Something
I
about him just looks like he's gluten intolerant.
I could see Ace being the one that was in charge of like bringing the s'mores and shit, and like he just made special s'mores. So Quentin has no idea why he's feeling the way he does,
Oh
but
no,
he's
no, no,
like,
no. Quentin's a stoner. Look at him. Have you seen that
I,
beanie? He looks exactly like my brother. He's 100% a stoner.
I have never consumed this item. Um, I don't know if it makes you sleepy, but I have heard that it can make you paranoid.
It depends on what kind. Sometimes it can make you sleepy. Sometimes it can make you paranoid. Sometimes it can just make you hungry. Sometimes it can just make you philosophical. Depends on what strain it is and how your body personally reacts to it.
Either way, I don't see Quentin reacting well either to the special s'mores, how the s'mores are made, intolerances, abundance of just
What
crappy
I
immune
will
system.
say is, okay, so you know how like a s'more, like if you usually have like a Hershey bar and you break off and it's like 3 bricks,
Hmm.
or actually it's usually like 6, usually like half the Hershey bar. Some people will do that. Um, if you're using chocolate bars, there's one that I love that I made the mistake of once of eating only 2 bricks, and I could not walk at all because if I moved, my whole apartment just went woo around me.
Okay.
So if they're using that kind of chocolate, it's gonna really fuck you up.
Off Quentin goes to his embarrassing bathroom death.
But I think everyone else would too.
Either that or Ace gives it to him first because he's not sure how he's never had this brick before.
He gives it to him because he looks like a stoner, and he's like, "Here, tell me what you think about this." Because he's like, "If you like it, you should know what's good, right?" But can I
I
tell
feel like
you, that's literally okay. No, that's literally what happened to me though. Well, not like okay. So I had that chocolate bar, right? And I
mhm.
got to the end of it, and I knew if I have 1 brick of it, it's fine. By the way, everybody, I lived in California. It was legal at the time of me doing this. I had 1 brick whenever I would eat this, and it was perfect. It was like immaculate high. Couldn't ask for more. I got to the end of the candy bar, and I took 1 piece, and then I started to wrap up the very last brick of it and put it away. And I was like, this is kind of silly, just leaving this last piece here. Like, what's the point? I might as well just go ahead and eat it. So I did. And then I played Assassin's Creed for like 5 hours. Um, and if you know how I am when I game when I'm high, I'm focused. I'm a god. Like I was 100% sinking all the way through that fucking game. and and then I paused and I was like, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom." And I turned away from my desk and I stood up, and that's when as I turned, my body stopped turning, but everything around me did not. And so the whole apartment just went right around me, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And I fell to the ground. But I still had to go to the bathroom really bad. And when I tried to stand up, I couldn't because I was just it was everything was moving and like I just couldn't. And I remember crawling to the bathroom because I had to go so bad, but I couldn't actually walk.
My God.
To be fair, it was also Assassin's Creed Black Flag, so while I was high, I was also being stimulated by the waves of the ocean. Like,
This was like when I got really drunk in my apartment once and I couldn't get up and I couldn't drink out of a cup. I had to get the mechanical pencil hollowed out so I could use as a straw. So
mm,
Quentin dies is our bathroom death.
yeah, he's really struggling to get to the bathroom in the first place. Yep. All right, let me go ahead and list him here. Oh, hi, where's my cue?
Wenton.
Quentin. This stream has been 90% story time, and I love it.
Yes. I just imagine Ace sees him reacting like that and just sticks the rest of it back in his bag and just like gets out a Hershey's instead. Like, here we go.
Poor Quentin. Um. Okay, so they're getting drunk, telling stories, making s'mores. Quentin's gone. Yunjin's gone. Elodie and Zarina are just like uh, looking at the last like droplets of goo that are still around and just being like, "What the fuck could it be?" One of them is
Yeah.
just like, "Hey, what does it smell like?" And they're just like, "I'm not gonna fucking sniff it." And then they're like, "Ace, a man who looks like he would sniff anything if given the opportunity."
Yeah, just one of them pulls out $1 and Ace's head just like pops up like a meerkat.
And then
Ah,
he's just like, "Ah, reminds me of a girl in Vegas."
of course it does.
That's Serena's exact reaction. Ace is on the game. Our super sleuth, number one sniffer in all of the gang.
Uh, eventually we're gonna have to go back and go through all of our videos and see if like any of our survivors have a kill count that ends up getting like significantly high.
Oh, like they just die a lot?
Or like they get somebody else killed on a semi-regular basis.
Oh, Steve, so far.
Like Yunjin kills people
Mm-hmm.
on a pretty regular basis. Hey, Lord Silvivi. And then Steve keeps getting killed for stupid shit.
Yeah,
Like just the amount of times, like the death count of a survivor getting somebody else killed.
that's true.
Okay, so
Steve was getting a lot of people killed at the when we first started this.
yeah, he was. Him and Nancy get each other killed on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah,
Like I feel like
honestly,
Nancy wasn't around, Steve would make it.
vice versa. Also, if Steve wasn't around, because when we didn't have them off doing, the classic, how teenagers do in horror movies shit.
Yeah.
At like our first couple, when I say that, I mean like our first two, they were living for like Nancy was living for a while. She was one of the last girls in the Huntress.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was because she was of her age and size.
it was. But also, we didn't have her and Steve off boinking. So,
Well, even if they did go off boinking, if the huntress caught that, Steve would get castrated. So he'd
true.
still die due to Nancy. She would have gotten out scot free.
That makes sense.
Souvenir. Oh my god.
All right.
I feel like
So,
eventually we have to have Steve and Nancy like legit break up. I know we've like played with it before.
oh yeah, because they had the group text in the one episode, and like,
do better.
Yeah. We should have them break up during one of the
Just
movies.
he wants to go with a more mature girl, somebody that's like really lived their life.
Jane.
Cheryl.
Oh.
I was going with the one that's literally lived a couple of lives.
You know what? Fine.
It's like sometimes I have to go to bed with a knife under my pillow because I never know who I'm gonna get living dangerously.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Some
Um.
days we're role playing cop and robber. Sometimes it gets a little too real.
Okay. We gotta start killing people.
If we do.
Um. Okay. So, Elodie and Zarina collected the goo. They bribe Ace with $1 to come sniff it. He makes a remark about smells like a girl he remembers from Vegas. Serena's like, of course it does. That doesn't really help them. Uh, Quentin ran off and vanished. Yunjin's vanished. We've got Jill, Leon, and Tap just kind of on guard.
So, a possible way to mow down a lot of people. Quentin's not gonna have anything good on him because it's Quentin.
Hmm.
Other than maybe like some energy drinks, which my god, Victor pumping energy drinks is gonna be a fucking nightmare. But I could imagine them like getting Quentin's shit and putting it on like a small tree branch, and then Victor just going "Rah!" and lighting the tree branch on fire, and then all the tents catch fire, and everybody's trying to get the fuck out of the tents.
Oh, and we lose a bunch of them to the fire.
Yes,
Okay, obviously Steve and Nancy because they made the mistake of being in the same sleeping bag, and it's really hard to get two people out of one sleeping bag quickly.
but he's a sailor,
Not a real one.
he's got a scoop,
Do you want them to live?
kind of.
Okay.
Just
They
imagine they try to
they
like
they cling to each other and successfully roll out of the tent as one in an unrealistically coordinated maneuver.
Steve wanted to try this new position and it required them to get out of the sleeping bag, but they're also in Nancy's tent, which is way too small for him, so his feet are sticking out of the bottom.
Oh
So it's
gosh.
already partially unzipped.
No, the fact that it's partially unzipped and his feet are out while they're doing shit.
Just imagine that. Nancy's like, it's getting a little hot in here. And he's like, yeah, it is. And she's like, no, seriously, I think something's on fire.
Uh, so we can have them get out. Lori's obviously got to make it out. Um,
Uh,
I mean, we could easily just take out Dwight, Meg, Claudette, Nia, Fung, Kate,
that
Jane.
whiskey on his pillow really
Really, really
just
did the
lights
job.
the whole tent.
Oh my god, it does! We didn't even plan for that! Dwight's 100% dead! He doesn't stand a chance! Hello, Ember, welcome! You
Um,
changed your name! But I recognize the emojis. um. Oh
Death
my god.
by alcohol soaked body pillow.
Nobody tell David. He looks like he's really dumb. Nobody tell David
Yeah. This
that
was an
Dwight died
accident.
because of the pillow.
This was an unpreventable accident.
Do we want to go ahead and off like everybody else that's intense and just make it quick?
I mean that would probably be
Smart.
honestly if Jake is in the pine tree, pine needles that are dry tend to go up. Meg and Claudette are sharing a tent because they're having the overnight. Nia has you know how many fucking cans of spray paint.
Oh my
That
god.
whole
Yeah,
tent
that's
that
it's
tent's
just gonna
gonna be a multi
explode.
It's gonna be a multi-casualty. Anybody in the vicinity of Nia's tent is gone.
Oh wow, yeah. So 5, 8, Jane. Depending on how close Nia's tent is to the fire, we could probably take out some of the people.
Felix. Felix went to bed.
Oh, Felix.
Oh god.
Who else went to bed? That is, that's it, isn't it? Everyone else stayed up.
Um, yeah, I think everybody else did. Did we
Why
want
does
to
my
have
cue not work? There we
did we
go.
want to have Jake's tree go up if nothing else because of the complete blowout from Nia's tent exploding?
Yes. What's this? So we have placed the survivors into a horror movie of they're a bunch of campers, and the twins have come to kill them. And we're gonna try to figure out how they're all dying. So Victor's Quentin fire tent takedown. So I'm just gonna doom doom doom. We're just gonna. I love the mass murders that we do. They're so easy. Stop it. What was that?
We're like
Okay.
sitting here like, oh god, we've been at this for an hour and a half and we've only killed 2 people.
I know.
It's time for a blowout.
Okay. So Lori, Steve, and Nancy do manage to actually get out of their tents because
Steve's literally just like holding his scoop and his hat, and Nancy's just standing behind him.
his hat's
Uh,
covering his little banana split, if you know what I mean. um Lori actually wasn't sleeping at all. She was like up knitting instead.
yeah,
So that's how she reacted quickly. Unfortunately, her yarn was lost to the fire.
yeah. Although I
Uh
could easily see her like sitting in the tent and she hears the Rah! And she's like, it's a child. Fire! That child is touching fire! Like all of her babysitter senses are just like firing off one after the other.
and one way or another Lori makes it out in time.
Yeah, she literally comes out just in time to see him like diving through the fire with the Quentin stuff. And she's like in the middle of going bad as he just flies through and she gets knocked to the side by the explosion. But
This
she's alive. She's really pissed off and is definitely going to put that kid in timeout, but she's alive.
this could be when David sees Victor and tries to fight him.
Yes. My god, just imagining like he's like he comes up and he corners him and he's like Victor's got the branch. They're just like squaring off.
Meanwhile,
Um,
David's distracted by Victor, as one usually is, and Charlotte just comes up behind him.
which I kind of imagine like have you seen Jurassic Park 2?
Um, yes, but it was definitely back in the 90s. I don't remember any of it.
Okay. Well, there's a part where a baby T-Rex like is standing up to one of the bad guys
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the baby T-Rex has not trained long enough. So the big daddy T-Rex just like bites the guy's leg so he has a hard time getting away so that he can have practice attacking and killing stuff. I'm just imagining like Charlotte coming over and just like taking his leg out and then backing up and letting Victor practice.
I'm absolutely down for that.
uh
There you go.
just imagine like the after that happens and Victor's just like, yeah, yeah. Just like it's just like his little sword.
Oh my gosh. Um, okay, so who do we have alive? We have Lori, Ace, Bill, Tap, Adam, Jeff. Ash, Nancy, Steve, Yui, Serena, Cheryl, Elodie, Jill, Leon. Am I missing
So let's
anybody?
see. I think we got
Okay. Um, obviously, with the tents being set on fire and David squaring off against Victor, they would have seen Victor again.
yes.
As and they also now would have seen Charlotte. So this is the
Hmm.
first time they're all seeing Charlotte. Um, they do know that if they can set Victor on fire, he will turn into goo.
Yes.
I feel like Zarina and Elodie are the smartest ones to connect that because they've been digging into this and like, well, he didn't start turning into goo and until after he was on fire. Like they don't realize you can just kick him and he's down. But
I'm just imagining like they see him the second time and just all the explosions, and now everybody that has a gun has got the gun ready, and everybody that has a chainsaw arm has that attachment fastened.
all one.
But I also think that because it's Ash, he would probably make a comment towards Charlotte because it's Ash.
I know exactly what he would say. Well, if that isn't a hole looking to be filled, I don't know what is.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm so glad that it has no mention of Charlotte knowing English. She would have no idea. Thank God.
Oh God, she's so lucky. Uh
Oh, God.
oh, Ash, our dirty boy. What a charmer he is.
Giving out awards at the end of the year, like most likely survivor to die from sexually harassing the killer. We have Ash.
Oh my goodness.
Also, most likely to survive sexually harassing the killer. Also, Ash.
um,
Oh,
which you know what? If he stalls long enough, she could just fucking sickle him and take him out while he's flirting.
I don't know. Sickle versus chainsaw.
She's
He might.
she's a tough bitch,
She is a tough bitch,
and she's dead.
but with great stupidity comes way too much ability to survive.
Fair point. I mean, she could nail him with the sickle and like he doesn't die,
Just comes really close to lopping off his peen.
or his other
Like you can
hand.
it's like it cuts to an x-ray of his peen just shriveling up and he's just like, that was close.
I mean, she could go for his other hand easily
Oh
enough.
no.
And he'd be like, oh, now I'm gonna need both if we're gonna have fun tonight. She still thankfully does
Or
not understand.
she lops off the other hand's like, that's fine, I got another attachment you'll love.
Ah! I vote that round. I vote Ash
uh,
loses his other hand. That's the best
uh,
comeback right there.
so he doesn't die. I imagine that at this point shooting occurs. Like they're
Yes.
like, it's not like intense shooting because I mean Ash did deserve it, but still,
Jill's actually the only one who doesn't shoot.
yeah,
she's she's just like, I'm gonna wait and see how this works out.
yeah. She's just sitting there like she raises the gun like she's gonna shoot, and she makes the motion. She's just like pew 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 pew.
Um, Tap could probably shoot Victor. At which
Yeah,
point
I could.
Victor goes.
Oh yeah. That's gonna get violent real quick if she catches him shooting him. But it's also gonna give them some insight into Victor's regeneration.
Oh yeah, which Elodie and Zarina are paying top tier attention to.
They literally are just sitting there watching this whole ordeal take place with notebooks in hand.
Uh,
A little tuft of Felix's hair just floats by, but they're too busy.
Down the line, not quite yet. I just want to point out, Yui 100% will absolutely punt Victor into a tree.
Oh yeah.
He does not stand a chance.
No.
So it was on my head. Had to get that out there. It's going to happen. Um,
Yeah. If anything, I could see her literally punting Victor back inside of Charlotte.
that would be hilarious.
It's like, well, what happens then? Technically, she just put him right back.
um, so if Tap shoots Victor, regenerates him. Welcome back, Alex. Charlotte's gonna go after Tap.
Yeah. Like if he shot at her and missed and hit like she got out of the way and he hit Victor instead or like tried to shoot her or shoot him instead of Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, shit's going to go down.
Do we want to go ahead and just have him just get got
Yeah.
with the sickle? All right.
Yeah, she might have to retreat at that point, but you don't just put down Victor without getting some kind of
Punishment.
yeah.
There are repercussions for your actions. Okay. So that leaves us with Lori, Ace, Bill, Adam, Jeff, part of Ash, Nancy, Steve, Yui, Serena, Cheryl, Elodie, Jill, Leon. So
It's
is
a
there...
shame it was his extra sensitive hand too.
Oh, it was. It was one that still had feeling.
Yeah.
Oh. Thankfully, he still has more body parts to work with.
Yeah.
His feet, everybody, you nasty fuckers. Um, Elodie and Zarina are comparing notes right now.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, so that's where he goes when he dies, because they saw him just back out of. Uh, wait, Punts Victor leaves to get new shoes. We'll recap everything
Yeah.
at the end, low number. So stick around and you'll hear about that. um,
I could just see like Ash is probably just like word vomiting stuff. Like the moment that Victor like reappears in her chest cavity, he's like, "Oh my god, it's a boob! That tit has legs!"
I'm absolutely screaming that the next time we go against the twins. Uh, that's hilarious. Um, okay. So, who are we killing off next?
God.
Charlotte's retreated into the woods. Zarina and Elodie are comparing notes.
Somebody, I imagine Adam's probably the only one willing to patch up Ash at this point.
That's fair.
Like Ace is just pulling all of his pouring alcohol on the wound to disinfect it, and Adam's just like, "Oh my god," but no one else wants to touch him.
Leon and Jill probably could.
Jill's not going to.
Okay, well, I forget. Well, I don't forget. I've never actually played any Resident Evil game, but I know the newer ones, they just pour goopy shit over their hands and they insta heal. So
Yeah, but
Leon can just take out that magic goopy shit and be like, "Here you go," and then Ash's hand just like regrows.
seeing Jill like nudge him, like, if we could give that to somebody else, like put that shit away. Let's go use it on the dead bodies first. They might be more useful, at least less offensive.
I think, given the franchise, they would lean away from bringing people back from the dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Um. Okay, yeah, Leon could start to help Ash, and then Jill's like, "Save it."
Meanwhile, off in no man's land, Steve and Nancy are just standing naked and horrified. Like,
Oh,
"Can
their
somebody
clothes were
please
in the
give me
tent.
clothes?"
Oh no. Adam would absolutely be a gentleman, give Nancy his jacket.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
100%. Jeff also a gentleman would give Steve his jacket, but it's much shorter. So
I could see Yui giving him the jacket too. Uh, but I'm just like, again, I'm just seeing Ash
Ace,
like, just use it like a coat hanger, you'll be fine.
I think Ace would actually give Steve his pants and just walk around in his boxers and be like, "I'm fine."
It's like list of people who would probably give up their coat. That would be Bill, Adam, Jeff, Yui. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Ace would be the only one willing to give up his pants.
Yeah, and he's got
Like,
very decorative boxers underneath too, that like hearts and
like
shit or something.
I think the best anyone else would give to Steve is a holster. Like, this is all we have, son.
Oh no! In the Wraith episode, somebody did that though, and Steve killed
No, not like giving him a gun, like giving him that instead of pants.
a holster instead of pants. It's not gonna cover shit. It's a
If
couple of
he's
straps.
if he's scared enough.
His banana split turned into a mini Chiquita.
Ash Ash gives him ashy slashy. Just chaps it around his
Okay, I love imagining everybody's trying to help Steve cover his shit, and Ace is the heroic one who's like, "Have my pants." Oh, poor Steven.
I know, Kitan, I know. It's okay, honey. It's
Katan's
alright.
like, "When I breathe like that, you comfort me."
It's okay, Hoo. Get your inhaler.
All right.
Uh,
Oh gosh. We're having too much fun and we're killing too slow.
uh,
Okay. So they're just trying to reset and recoup from
yeah.
everything that just happened.
Uh,
Uh Tab just died. Uh Bill's probably checking on him. You know, the old men gotta stick together and Bill's just like, he's gone.
he's gone as he pulls the gun and the extra lighter and the extra bullets. The
Lights up his cig again and just
yeah.
this one's for you, Tab. um okay. Victor and Charlotte I think need to come back.
Yeah.
I think Elodie and Zarina, as everybody's kind of like getting together, they're just like, hey, if they come back, we gotta burn the little one. That's what killed him last time. Or no. They're piecing together that like the little one isn't dying because they burned him.
Yeah.
He got shot, and he just keeps going turning into goo and then appearing in his sister
Yes,
or
because
like
that tit
the
has
woman.
legs.
Yes, because that tit has legs, and that's what Ash says. um, so
Uh,
they gotta formulate some sort of a defense plan of how do we stop him from doing that, or how do we take her down?
I can just see Lori like at this point, like, I'm pretty sure he's a kid. Like, just look at the size of him.
Fair. Narwhal! Oh my gosh, thank you so
Oh
much,
my god.
Narwhal.
So Lori might be doing the old babysitter routine.
How so?
Just, that's I think that might be a kid
Okay.
and they might like be making the connection that things are like violence is escalating if Victor gets hurt. Like
Okay.
there might be a camp of, well, let's go ahead and keep killing, like try to kill them both. And there might be one being like, well, let's try and calm the little shit down first. Oh my god. Lori and Steve joined together to form the Babysitters Club.
I love it. Um okay. So I think Bill, Jill, and Leon would be in the we gotta kill it camp.
Yes.
Um Ash would not, because if they kill it, he can't make love to it.
Right.
Uh Steve and Lori, like you said, form Babysitters Club. I feel like Nancy and Steve would actually have opposing views. Like Nancy would be like, "No, it burned our tent down. It
There's a lot of stuff in that tent that I recently purchased that I can't get a return or refund for.
that can be their divide." Or she can side with them. I think it could go either way with Nancy.
I think she needs enough evidence for one way or another.
That's fair, yeah.
So she might be like, we need to collect more information and or just leave. Uh always an option.
You know what? Actually, I think she would be more on the information side.
So she may take this moment to, if anything, divide from Steve to join up with her other friends from previous episodes,
Zarina and
Elodie
Elodie.
and Zarina.
And be like, what have you figured out so far?
And
Meanwhile,
Steve's just bored as fuck. He just goes to hang out with Lori and starts trying to swap babysitter stories, but
try
like
to figure out like how they calm down this rambunctious child.
yeah,
Um Ace, Adam and Jeff, and Cheryl, where would they fall in?
I don't know why, but I always get the impression like Cheryl's in like neutral territory. Like she's seen
It's
all this shit before, and if it's cult shit, like again, been there, died to that,
that's fair.
been reincarnated, dealt with that again. Um so if anything else, I feel like she might fall in with the Zarina Elodie camp.
True. Okay.
If nothing else, for the Organization of Safety Against Ash. Um Jeff.
Adam would be one to we need to learn more about it.
Yeah. Like if there's gonna be a divide, it's gonna be a strict divide between the kill camp and then the other two at least can live kind of they can coexist because one wants to at least collect information and the other one wants to resolve peacefully. So there's gonna be a very sharp divide between our heavily armed survivors and our non heavily armed survivors.
I don't think Yui would actually be in the kill camp yet.
No.
I think
But
she
then
would
again, Lord
be
Sylvie.
I think she would be like uh I think the people in the kill camp are going to be really busy
Yes.
figuring shit out of how they're going to kill it. And I think Yui's just like I don't really see need to kill it yet. Like
I mean, from Yui's point of view, I mean, she kind of gets where Charlotte's coming from hacking off Ash's hand.
Right.
If we're being honest here.
Yeah, like that makes sense entirely. She definitely doesn't feel like Tap deserved what he got because in the end, like even though he shot Victor, obviously Victor didn't die, so
Yeah.
that was unwarranted. But she's also like, we could just leave
Yeah.
easily enough. But the gun people are like, no, we gotta destroy
Vengeance.
it.
We can't let this get back to the towns. Our modern day witch hunters.
They're like, it took out one of our own, and they're referring to Tap, and he was just like, they took out 12 of our own.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Do we want
I
Vic?
think I think that the out of all of the ones that are gonna go down, it's gonna be our armed people, our pro kill,
Yes, because they're
because
actually a threat.
yes. And Charlotte does seem to be more of a retaliatory person
Yes.
and not so much a I'm going to kill you person. That's kind of like Victor's camp.
Yes. Which is which aligns with the achievement that you get from them called I think tag team,
Yeah.
where you only get the achievement if you down people while Victor's on them. So she's defending Victor.
Yeah.
Uh yeah.
I feel like if they do enough research, the girl squad is eventually going to find Yui and realize like Yui and Quentin and realize that there's a very sharp divide as far as I know I'm using that word like a lot of shit that is missing from Yunjin versus shit that is missing on Quentin
True.
because he clearly lit the Quentin shit up and they left him with like some of his stuff, but like they took everything off of Yunjin's body because like down to fingernails because like those like she's just that damn good looking that they're like we need to take everything.
Charlotte does collect fingernails.
She does.
It was specifically Victor's, but a fun little
Still,
caveat.
I mean, if you just like if you look at the shit that they've collected, the fingernails, the cat eyeballs, like some of Victor's teeth,
Yeah.
like you know that they've just like look at Yunjin and they're just like we need the hair, we need the eyes, we need the teeth. Like they're just like making a mental inventory. Like there's going to be like nothing left of her when they
Ugh.
come back.
Yeah.
Whereas Quentin's just going to be like dead and missing like his beanie and his sweater.
Because his beanie fits perfectly on Victor. That's
And the
actually really
sweater
precious.
was for his little weapon.
Oh, that's precious.
So I feel like they could make the connection that they took all the stuff that was precious, at least to them,
Hmm.
off of Yunjin. So they might be able to at least like make bait,
Ah,
like a lure,
of
possibly a peace offering.
trying to collect what they think is valuable.
Yeah.
Um, what would the survivors have on them that's valuable? Steve's ice cream scoop.
Oh yeah.
That's
The
100%.
ice cream scoop, literally any of Ash's attachments.
Oh
I
yeah,
could see Victor flipping out to get a hold of that.
the chainsaw
Um,
in particular.
any of the
If Victor gets the chainsaw. So I got really excited. Give Victor the
God.
chainsaw. We're giving
Victor
Victor the chainsaw.
Victor wants the chainsaw, he wants Ashy Slashy, he wants all the shiny police badges. Um More importantly, Charlotte needs food. So you know that the s'mores are on the table.
And the chocolate.
Mhm.
Um
If anything's gonna mellow Victor out, that's it.
No, I imagine them approaching Ash to be like, we need your chainsaw. And him being like, absolutely not. And then Yui just emerges and she's like, we need your chainsaw now. And just like her mere presence is threatening and he hands it over.
Is she doesn't she have like a knee pad or something? Like you just know that thing's got to be have something hard in it. Like you can just feel his
Oh,
crotch just like vacuum sealing into his body the moment she like that kneecap twitches.
yes, 100%. Okay, so they're going around, they're gathering all the shinies,
Yes.
all of this stuff, and putting it into a pile as a potential peace offering, you said?
Yeah, I think they could do a peace offering and then like I could see Lori doing arts and crafts like to make stuff for Victor
Mm-hmm.
or from looking at Charlotte and them, like seeing their clothes and how raggedy they are, possibly getting clothes together that they think might be able to fit them.
Lori's like frantically knitting a scarf.
Oh yeah, she's making Victor an entire outfit.
um, okay. So when Victor and Charlotte come back and they try to make the offering, Victor grabs the chainsaw.
God.
And we can take out a bunch of them.
I don't think he'd be able to lift it, but I could easily see him like sitting there like trying to start it and then like Leon, Jill, and Bill like coming out of left field to try and kill him and him like trying to use it as self-defense, like just clutching the chainsaw. They can't get good shots at him, so they try and like lift them up or get closer and then
And while they're distracted trying to shoot him, Charlotte attacks them,
yeah,
knocks them out.
just decapitates them. They're dead. It's
Perfect.
like a lawnmower, just a blood sprinklers going
Ugh.
off.
Okay.
Obviously, now Charlotte's gonna be super sus because Victor's like he's still alive, but he's very close to the other survivors, and there are people taking shots at him. So this is our point where our survivors need to kind of do the raptor thing with the Jurassic World. Be like, no, no, everything's fine. We already took the gas out of the chainsaw.
If they
We
can.
made a we made a scarf. Like they're like trying to like Lori's trying to make like do baby stuff with them. Like made a little rattle out of the scoop.
It's adorable. It's just this ice cream scoop with some rocks inside.
Yeah. Like Lori is doing that babysitter thing. She's working her magic over there, and Victor just wants everything she's showing him, and
Mm-hmm.
she's just giving it to him, just one after another.
She
And
gives him.
Victor's just,
She gives him her knitting needles. He can stab somebody.
I feel like it's gonna be Ash
I'm absolutely down for that.
because he's gonna be like trying to casually get the chainsaw back without Yui noticing.
Yes, as soon as he reaches for it, Victor's just like looking at the needles and just like,
Yes.
ah!
Oh.
Jeff or Ace, when Ash
Hmm.
gets attacked, could just react defensively and kick Victor.
I vote Jeff
I was leaning toward Jeff.
because I feel like out of the two, Ace's flight response is much stronger than his fight response unless money is involved.
That's fair. At which point Jeff will obviously get killed.
Yeah.
Uh, he does not stand a chance.
Yeah, he's just gone.
So who do we have left? We have Lori, Adam, Nancy, Steve, Yui, Serena, Cheryl, Elodie. That's it. That's who we have left. Okay. I would imagine two back-to-back instances of, or actually, yeah, both. I don't know. So one, Victor got in this one encounter. Victor's been shot at. His toys have been attempted to be stolen from him, and he got kicked and had to regenerate back inside of Charlotte. How trusting would Charlotte and Victor be anymore?
I think that Charlotte's smart enough to know that like the others were actually like legitimately trying to be nice,
Okay.
but obviously Jeff's got to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, Jeff gets obliterated. And I imagine that they're both very like they're not very trustworthy right now, like they're sticking together at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Charlotte is also like eyeballing their entire giant fucking stash of shit right now.
And just trying to
Like,
figure out how she can pack it onto herself.
yeah, especially with this many people.
Yeah.
So, we're going to need another person to try and make the offering. Also, question, do you think any of these people would actually speak French?
Elodie. She is French.
Oh.
She's from Paris.
So, I
That
could
was
see
our yeah.
Lori like trying to say something to her and having no idea. Like she's not responding and looking at him, and Elodie, just being this worldly human being, just starts cycling through languages until she hits the jackpot and then actually like gets Charlotte to say something. And
Okay.
then she's like, he's French. So we can now have Elodie actually trying to talk to her and being like, hey, if you guys want to stay over there, that's perfectly fine. We can move away from all this stuff. We have food, we have water, we have clothing. We'll just move away from this pile, take whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
And like giving her the option to take the stuff and either like leave from there, or if she wants to talk with them and stay, that they would be okay with that, which is kind of fun considering they're literally just standing in an area that has been set on fire and exploded, just has chunks of human just raining down all over the place. um yeah, I think that at that point she would try and negotiate with her and try and like talk this down.
Mm-hmm.
Like Charlotte's clearly not a big fan of people.
Right.
Um,
At all. She doesn't really trust anybody.
yeah, but I could at this point I also think that like that has been the best outcome so far.
Yes.
Has been not kicking Victor.
I mean,
um,
do we want this to be the happy ending?
I think this could be the happy ending. The question is how is Charlotte going to take the stuff and go, or is she actually going to like trust these people?
She's gonna take the stuff and go. No, she's not gonna stay with them, but if they're gonna give her free shit, yeah, she's gonna take it.
Maybe they come back. They come back and leave her food sometimes.
Oh.
That's the only reason that they know that she's still alive is because they have a little box in that area and they just put food and like clothes and toys in it. And when they come back and they see that it's empty, they know that she's been there. And sometimes they can see her like watching in the distance, waiting for them to fill up the box. Maybe
Oh.
she leaves them something like she leaves them one of Yunjin's fingernails.
Ew. She leaves them only the thing that she has 9 other of lying
Yeah.
around. Gross.
I just imagine like at some point like Zarina does like a news story of her later on down the line and she's like got a drone just flying around there and they just have like a little like cabin in the woods and you just see like all of Yunjin's shit just proudly displayed everywhere. A chainsaw, just like just all the random shit that was left behind.
I love it. On the dock, do I have all the last survivors, or am I missing anybody?
Let's see. Lori, Adam, Ace, Nancy, Steve, Serena, Elodie, Cheryl. I think that's all of them. I feel like
Okay.
Cheryl would eventually like learn to speak French and like write her notes and shit.
Aw.
Like, hey, you got abducted by a cult? I got abducted by a cult.
Here's
You're a teenager. I'm a teenager.
how much you got.
Do you have a bunch of really muscled guys with pyramid heads following you?
No. Okay.
Do you want one? Oh my god, and that's how it begins. The sequel is the twins assisting Cheryl to defeat Pyramid Head
I love it.
because Victor wants the giant pyramid head. Oh god.
All right. Do we want to do the recap?
Okay, so we are at the McMillan Estates in the Shelter Woods. Everybody is there doing a camp out. Everybody is surrounding a campfire, telling scary stories. Are you afraid of the dark style? At some point, at the height of the storytelling, they hear the screeching of Victor, and Yunjin sees him and punts him into the fire and is absolutely disgusted by the amount of goo that's on her shoes. So she takes off to go get some new shoes, and Charlotte goes ahead and kills her and takes everything on her fucking body for punting Victor. They do fish his body out and he turns to ooze on the ground, and they're like, what the fuck is that? Um, Meanwhile, while this whole thing was going down, Ace gave Quentin some chocolate because he was pretty sure that he knows good chocolate when he tries it. Just from looking at him, Quentin has not been exposed to this kind of chocolate, and it does not play well with his system. So he goes to the bathroom and he does not make it. So everybody decides at this point to either one, go to sleep and pretend none of this is happening, or two, sit around the bonfire getting drunk and talking about the shit that was happening, or three, you're just on higher alert and ready to shoot some shit. Alternatively, you find out that Steve has brought his pajamas, which are his Chips Ahoy or Ships Ahoy,
Scoops
whatever.
ahoy.
What?
Scoops ahoy.
Scoops Ahoy. I'm going through like every different kind of cookie brand at my at the Kroger. Um, and you find out that wow, you're really turned on by that Scoops Ahoy outfit, and I would really love to have some quality time with that long, thick baseball bat that you have in your sleeping bag. So a bunch of people go ahead and go in and sleep at the tent, which includes Meg, Claudette, Nia, Fung, Kate, Jane, Felix, and Lori, as well as Jake, but he's like our outdoorsman, and he's like hollowed out part of a pine tree and is like living in the needles and shit.
And Dwight.
Um, and Dwight. Dwight only went because he was originally scared and was like huddling in David's lap, and he was like, I really want to go to bed, but I don't want to go alone. And David's like, okay, I'll go to bed with you. But Dwight was like drunk enough that he just kind of passed out. So David swapped with a body pillow and put some whiskey on it so it would smell like him. And Dwight had no idea. So he went back to the fire without Dwight. And at that point, Victor had regenerated inside of Charlotte, and they're looking for some. So Victor ends up taking some shit off of Quentin and wraps some of his clothes around a stick. And he takes off back into the camp and he goes diving free willy over the fire, lights that torch up, and then hits the tents. Now, Lori had been in her tent and she wasn't necessarily sleeping. She was just knitting like an old lady, but all of her babysitter senses start tingling when she hears the screaming of Victor, plus the smell of fire. And she comes out of her tent and realizes, holy shit, everything's catching on fire. Dwight's tent goes up first because of the fact that he was with a body pillow soaked in alcohol. So that whole thing just goes up. And Meg, Claudette, Fung, Kate, Jane, and Felix, their tent goes down. Nia's fucking explodes because it's filled with spray paint, which knocks Lori to the side, but she's fine. Meanwhile, in the Steve and Nancy tent, um, they were trying a new position, and they were in Nancy's tent. So Steve's feet were sticking out, so it's a little bit unzipped already. And Nancy was like, "Is it getting hot in here?" And Steve's like, "Hell yeah, it is." And she's like, "No, I think there's something on fire." So they get out of the tent. Their whole tent goes up, and legit, all that they have is Steve's scoop and his little hat, which he is using to try and cover himself. Nancy's just standing behind him. So David is like, "Oh my god, this little torch wielding shit just lit all these people up," and he goes to go fight them because it's David. Charlotte comes over and takes out one of his legs because he wants to give Victor a little bit of practice. So Victor is able to take down the wounded David like a little baby T-Rex. At that point, Tap is like is pulling out the gun and shoots Victor. Um Ash makes a comment of, now that's one hole that I would love to fill when he sees Charlotte, but thankfully she speaks French. She has no idea what he just fucking said.
For the best.
um, so eventually they see that Victor regenerates inside of her chest, and Ash is like, holy shit, it's a titty with legs. And yeah, so now at this point, there's a group of people that are taking notes. They're inspecting the goo. They made Ace sniff it at some point. They're just like, they're meticulously taking notes. And another group is like, Victor is clearly a kid. We need to handle this peacefully. And then yet another group that's like, no, we need to fucking kill these guys because if they get out into the public, they could get a lot of people killed. Um, Also, at some point, Charlotte goes ahead and slices off Ash's other hand. But he's cool with that because he's got other extensions for his hand that he could plug in that he's sure that she would like. Um, Adam takes care of his hand and packaging and putting it back together, patching it up, whatever, because no one else wants to fucking touch him. Um, Especially the girls, like when the whole thing went down and people were shooting at Charlotte and Victor, Jill definitely did not take a shot because she heard what Ash said, so she did not like take part in trying to
All
assist
the
him.
ladies were actually rooting for Charlotte.
Yeah, they were kind of like go girl, you get him. So anyway, they retreated. Um, and so there we got the three different camps going on. Two of them are kind of, existing together. They're fine with each other because they're just collecting information and trying to resolve things peacefully. The other three are trying to take care of their own, Mr. Tap, not the other 12 people that died. But they do eventually find Yunjin and Quentin's body, and they realize that they took a hell of a lot of shit off of Yunjin compared to Quentin, with Yunjin, like they took her teeth, her eyeballs, her fingernails, all of her clothes, her hair, any jewelry. Like they took everything they could off of Yunjin because she's that damn pretty. Whereas Quentin, they literally took the beanie because it fit Victor, and they took the sweater because it was good kindling. Uh, So they're like, okay, clearly they like shiny things. And from the looks of them, they probably need some clothes and probably some food. So the information gathering slash babysitter camp, or the babysitters club as they shall be hence known, put their skills together and collected a nice big pile of clothes and shiny things. And Yui uses her big dick energy to make Ash fork over the chainsaw extension. And when they eventually come back, Victor approaches them and they start like, "Hey, here's some fun shit for you. Enjoy this, yay!" And Victor's like, "Hot damn chainsaw!" and picks up the chainsaw. At this point, Joe, Leon, and Bill spring their trap. They come in shooting, and the chainsaw is way too fucking big for Victor, so he's just like holding on to it, like sitting behind it. And Charlotte comes out of left field and just fucking lawnmowers their heads clean off. So they go rolling off to the side, and they're like, okay, well, clearly don't fuck with Victor. So they keep trying to very peacefully give him new stuff. So Lori gives him a little rattle made with the scoop and some rocks. and like he's just like Victor's just going through item after item after item,
Like
but then
fucking
Ash is
Christmas
like,
for him.
yeah, but then Ash sees him set down the chainsaw and is like, I really want that back. So he tries to reach over with his fucking stub hands to try and grab it back. And Victor sees it and stabs him to death with a knitting needle. Jeff panics and kicks Victor to defend Ash. Obviously, Charlotte is not cool with this. Um, so, Jeff has to die. But at this point, the others are like, they're like, hey, love, peace, etc. Like, don't hurt us. We're here. We brought gifts. And Charlotte has Victor regenerate in her chest. They're sitting there like really suspicious. And Elodie goes out on a limb and starts trying to talk to her. She doesn't seem to understand English. Starts cycling through all the different languages she knows. Finally hits French and gets a little bit of a response from Charlotte. So she's like, hey, listen, we have all this stuff we've collected for you. If you want to hang out with us, you can. If you want to take this stuff and go, that's fine. It's all yours to keep. We have clothes for you. We have food and water for you. Here it is. And then they move aside, and Charlotte, like, is kind of excited because she's trying to figure out how to, like, fucking load all this shit up on her back. But she ends up taking it and not killing anybody else. So they realized, if we don't act violently and be a bunch of assholes, we can survive this pretty well. And you know, Cheryl's been in a cult, and Charlotte and Victor have been in a cult, so they kind of have stuff in common, and they start bringing stuff, leaving it in a box, and they know that she's there because it always disappears. She leaves one of Yunjin's fingernails, and Serena does a story and gets to look in on her little cabin in the woods with the little drone and sees all like Yunjin shit proudly displayed everywhere with Ash's chainsaw. So yeah, that's the end of that.
It's kind of a
So
happy ending.
yeah, so our survivors are Lori, Ace, Adam, Nancy, Steve, Zarina, Cheryl, and Elodie. Pretty much everybody that has a little bit of like seems to be a decent human being, and Ace.
I love Ace. Ace is the only one who gave Steve his pants, okay? He is a
Oh
decent
yeah, he
human
gave
being.
Steve the pants.
He When Steve and Nancy were standing there naked because they got driven out of their love hut by a fire, Adam and Ace came to the rescue.
Adam gave up his big jacket,
Yeah.
and Ace gave up his pants.
I feel like Ace and Steve actually aren't the same size, but it was the best Steve had to work with.
Yeah, Steve was gonna take it. Like he'll use a belt. It's fine.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Almavox.
Oh my god.
So next week.
Next week is
Next
Legion.
week's Legion.
Yay.